Hello, 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 hello. Are we here? Are we here? Here. Looks like we're here. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Today's going to be a little different than our usual live stream. Normally, I talk about Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, and Neuralink. And today, I'm going to focus more on Elon Musk. Specifically, an incident happened in the Twitter community. Elon replied to a tweet. People freaked out about it. And I wanted to get back to a point because people call me an Elon cultist. And I am. I am unabashedly an absolute supporter of Elon Musk. I believe Elon Musk. Let me be very direct about this. Elon Musk is the greatest person ever to walk this earth. He is doing more for humanity than anyone has ever done before. Yes, he's Jesus. He's Gandhi. He's the Buddha. Whatever you want to call it. He's done more than. I'm not trying to get into religious fights with people. Whatever. He is picking up. I mean this. He is carrying humanity's future on his shoulders. Don't bite his ankles. This is my tweet earlier today in response to this hysteria that popped up over a reply tweet yesterday. I'm not going to get into the substance. I'm probably going to get into the substance of it later because there's a question from YouTube channel, or I forget which one, YouTube, Patreon, or the Daily Light. If you want to support this, you might not like what this is going to be probably one of my most controversial videos today because there's people who are really upset right now, and I'm gonna poke the bear. No, I don't just mean Earl Mark. I've been blocked by Kim, and I'm sure others are angry. There's a whole bunch of people who've gotten really, really upset about something that, what's more important? And I'll say this: what's more important, humanity's future or somebody's feelings? A small group of people. I'm not saying I'm not saying they're an unimportant group of people, but it's a small group of people who got really upset about what I actually think was a reasonably fair question and a poorly understood question. They just jumped to the defense of everybody's feelings. I hate to quote Ben Shapiro, but facts. I don't know. What's something about facts and feelings? I don't even know what the Ben Shapiro line is. I don't know what's happening in a clinic in South Carolina, and neither does some activist in Ottawa, Canada. And neither, as far as I can tell, nobody knows exactly what's happening in this clinic in South Carolina. I know I read the abstract on the tweet. So this is the thing. We can get into Elon says controversial things sometimes. And I want to go through, this is my tweet thread earlier that's actually catching some attention on Twitter. I feel like a lot of my tweets don't get a lot of engagement. This thread is getting more engagement. This first tweet seems to have a lot of likes and a fair amount of response. Mark, this is my second time in the Kim block flood. It's probably final now. And by the way, if you block me on Twitter, I reciprocally block. If I realize I've been blocked, I'm going to block you back. And you unblock me, I'll probably unblock you. So I want to focus on this, and I've got a 4-tweet thread. So the one on the far side, on the left edge of the screen, I want to say this: without Elon, there's no EV transition. Maybe, Nissan is got a second generation Nissan Leaf with 100 miles of range or something. Maybe. There's no Lucid Motors without Elon Musk and Tesla. There's no Rivian without Elon Musk and Tesla. Maybe the Chinese EV industry is making some progress. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's not. And, Ford and General Motors and Volkswagen, they're not making EVs. Not in any significant volume. They're not pushing to transition to sustainable transportation, sustainable energy if it wasn't for Tesla pushing them. Just wouldn't be happening. LD, I'm probably going to talk about what the tweet was about later. Elon replied to a tweet about an abstract of what a clinic in South Carolina was doing. But we'll talk about that later in the thing. I just want to focus on why Elon is important first. Okay? Point is that Elon is doing some really big stuff. He's got the earth on his shoulders. He's in his Atlas pose. And there are people who claim to support Elon, and then when he does something they don't like, they're biting his ankles. Look, the guy's carrying the world on his shoulders. Stop biting his ankles. So let's go. There's no EV transition. There's no Tesla without Elon. All these Tesla, I'll tell you, this dispute has brought the Elon haters and the Tesla haters out. People want us to talk about enabling. People think that Elon's enabling the far right. How about you enabling the Tesla queue? How about you enabling the Elon haters? There's a ton of people jumping in on these threads, bashing Elon, telling all the same lies about Elon. And, Earl, I'm particularly upset with Earl. Earl took a shot at Elon about Elon's own child. Earl doesn't know what's happening inside Elon's family. I don't know what's happening inside Elon's family. That was a completely unfair shot from Earl. I'm very disappointed in Earl for that. I guess I should expect shit like this is going to happen. And I want to say this right now. So I see Elon as the cult leader, right? He's the cult leader of a movement, right? It's a really important movement, and it's a movement that will save humanity from extinction. Okay, so that's how I see it. You think that humanity's not going to go extinct without the things that Elon's talking about? We have population collapse, humanity goes extinct. If we don't get off this rock, at some point we go extinct. If we don't transition off fossil fuels into sustainable energy, then humanity's going to be in serious trouble. I don't think we necessarily go extinct if we don't transition off fossil fuels, but it wasn't a shot at Elon's child, it was a shot at Elon. We don't know what's going on inside Elon's family. So, there's no reusable rockets without Elon. This is one of those things that really burns me. You'll get people who say, oh, Elon didn't do reusable rockets. He just spent some money and paid some engineers and yelled at them, and poof, we have reusable rockets. Really? Really? Jeff Bezos, when Elon started SpaceX, and for the longest stretch of time, up until maybe a year or so ago, Jeff Bezos had more money than Elon. Jeff Bezos has a rocket company called Blue Origin. He's got a flying dildo. Where's the reusable orbital rocket boosters? New Glenn is coming, supposedly, at some point, maybe Blue Origin will get there, but they're not there yet. Tesla, let's be clear about this. SpaceX landed their first orbital rocket booster on December 21, 2015, which should be a global holiday. Okay, because this is our step to this is opening space back up to us again. Absolute spectacular moment. December 21, 2015. 7 years ago. Nobody else has landed an orbital rocket booster. Landed and reused. They just did their 14th. One of the boosters just had its 14th reuse, 14th flight. And as far as I know, that one's ready to do more. This is a game changer for space. And then you're going to have reusable Starship soon. And that's going to be an even bigger game changer for space. Before SpaceX, it was $10,000 to launch a kilogram into low Earth orbit. And you had to launch a whole bunch of them, by the way, right? The cost was $10,000 per kilogram to put payload into low Earth orbit. With SpaceX, it's now $1,000. With Falcon 9, now $1,000 a kilogram to launch a payload into low Earth orbit. With Starship, it's going to go down to $20. We're going to go from $10,000 a kilogram to $20 a kilogram. It's going to cost less to put a 1 kilogram package into low Earth orbit than it will to send a 1 kilogram package from Los Angeles to New York. And it's going to get there quicker. Without Elon, there's no moon missions. There's no Mars. Nothing. Was SLS going to at some point launch something to the moon? Maybe. But SpaceX is driving the space industry. Tesla is driving the EV industry. Everyone else is forced to adapt because Elon is pushing, because Tesla is pushing, because SpaceX is pushing. Everyone else has to adapt to what they're doing. It's a driving force. What was the mission? The mission is to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy and transportation. It's not just Tesla, right? Tesla is forcing others to accelerate, but it wouldn't be happening without Elon Musk doing this. I don't care about whatever Eberhard's name is. Elon didn't start Tesla. Oh my God. Without Elon, there's no Tesla. With Gerhard Eberhard or whatever the hell his name is, Tesla would be dead if it was just him. Elon is the one who brought Tesla out of nothingness into something. Without Elon, there's no grid storage. Lisa questioned me, and I like Lisa. Lisa and I battle from time to time, and Lisa said, what do you mean no grid storage? Yeah, probably somebody somewhere would have some level of grid storage, but it wouldn't be anywhere near the scale that Tesla is doing. We are seeing Tesla ramping up grid storage to an astonishing degree. You're going to see this in the Q3 earnings report. You're going to see it in the Q4 earnings report. Megapack is ramping. Powerwall is starting to ramp. You're going to see massive amounts of energy storage, which enables the solar and wind future. You can't have the solar and wind future if you don't have grid storage. And Elon is making that happen. Elon and the Tesla team. I want to be clear. When I say Elon's biggest strength, he has a lot of strengths, but his biggest strength is building great teams. And he has built a great team at Tesla. He's built a great team at SpaceX. He's building great teams at Boring Company and Neuralink. This is great stuff. This is absolutely spectacular. So, and I see somebody taking a shot at Jeff Bezos. Look, I agree, like Blue Origin hasn't achieved, but don't sell Jeff Bezos short. Jeff Bezos has made the world a much better place. I get annoyed at him from time to time, although apparently I'm channeling Jeff Bezos' look, right? People have been saying my photos, I'm starting to look like Jeff Bezos. I'm not there yet. But Jeff Bezos enabled the self-publishing world. I self-published a book in 2013. I wouldn't have been able to do that without Jeff Bezos. Shopping has become so much easier thanks to Jeff Bezos. I like Amazon Prime. Not saying Amazon Prime Video. I'm not saying it's that innovative, but Jeff Bezos made the world a better place. Logistics has gotten better. Delivering products to consumers has gotten better. The logistics for the companies that are producing things and distributing things has gotten better. I'm an Elon cultist, right? And I'm not a Bezos cultist, but don't sell other entrepreneurs short. Entrepreneurs matter. And Elon is the greatest entrepreneur in the history of the world, but other entrepreneurs matter. They matter a lot. None of this stuff happens. None of the wonderful things we have, the iPhones we have, all the great things that we have, they don't exist without entrepreneurship. And these attacks on Elon are also attacks on other entrepreneurs. You think Elon's the last one they're going to attack? He's not. So my point is this reusable rockets, the EV transition, the grid storage, Mars, this only happens with the extreme urgency that Elon brings. Elon delivers this sense of we have to innovate. Look, we got to the moon and then we stopped going. Why did we stop going? Because we lost the urgency. Elon has brought that urgency back. He brings a team together. He says, this is our mission, and it's a crazy over-the-top mission. We're going to put 1 million people on. We're not just going to Mars. We're putting 1 million people on Mars. Not 10, not 100, 1 million. That is an outsized goal. 1 million people on Mars. That is an outsized goal. That is a crazed, lunatic goal. And he gets people to buy into the mission, and he gets them to believe in it, and he works his ass off on it, and he gets other people inspired to work their asses off for the same mission. And I'm in. I mean, I'm not working on the mission. I'm working on it as a YouTuber, and I'm starting my own Podcar company because I'm inspired by Elon. I'm starting my own single-passenger EV company. Progress is being made, but that's for another day. So Elon is under constant attack from the left and the right, okay? From big oil, big auto, big tech, big jealousy, whatever. There's people constantly attacking Elon. Constantly. The Biden administration's been attacking Elon. What did Biden say? Good luck on your trip to the moon. He's sending NASA astronauts to the moon, you idiot. You know, Biden touting General Motors and Ford's efforts on electric vehicles and ignoring Tesla's success and what Tesla's doing to transition the world to sustainable energies. Absolute disgrace that Joe Biden won't even mention Elon's name, that won't mention Tesla's name. Just absolute, utter disgrace. But that's the moderate left. The radical left, the Elizabeth Warrens, the Bernie Sanders, they've been attacking Elon constantly bashing him. Endless streams of bashing from these asshats. And the right attacks him. Trump attacked him recently. Thomas Massey's attacking electric vehicles just yesterday. And people think I'm like partisan Republican, I'm MAGA, whatever. I'm a libertarian. I don't like the Republican Party. I don't like the Democratic Party. My Republican friends get mad at me over when I'm anti-war stuff, and I say we should bring the troops home and we should have open borders. But my Republican friends don't cancel me when they disagree with me. They don't block me on Twitter when I say something they don't like. We just have a conversation. What's the guy's name? Randy. Randy Vegetables or something like that. I've had plenty of arguments with Randy about Ukraine and stuff, and he's passionate. He believes it. He doesn't block me. But Earl and Kim block me because I disagree with him about something. The radical left has gone too far, but Elon's getting shot at from the right. Trump took a shot at him recently. Thomas Massey's taking shots at electric vehicles right now. Really, this is on my Twitter today. Thomas Massey taking shots at electric vehicles, which is striking because he has a Tesla and he has solar, and he's an electrical engineer. He's misrepresenting facts. I was until today. I was a Thomas Massey fan. He's a congressman from Kentucky, and he's badly misleading the public. It was questioning Pete Buttigieg. I don't know how to pronounce that name. He was Secretary Pete, whatever. He was questioning him in a congressional panel and misrepresenting the amount of electricity that EVs use and the impact that has on the grid, because most EVs charge at night when its grid is off peak and it's not an issue. And he misrepresented quite a few facts there. I was very, very disappointed in Massey because I usually love the guy. And I don't know if I can recover from that, honestly. It's just it was outright. He's an electrical engineer. He knows better. He was lying. He wasn't just getting something wrong. He was lying. So he's getting attacked from the left. He's getting attacked from the right. Constant attacks from big oil, big auto, big tech, Tesla Q, whatever. Whose side are you on? Are you on this? Because you look at these attacks on Elon and who jumps on board? Tesla Q jumps on board. What's her name? Some dimwit who's suing Tesla is Christina Balan is jumping on all the threads saying, aha, see Elon. Like, she cares about trans people. She doesn't care about trans people. She just hates Elon. You say that Elon's enabling the far right? Well, you're enabling the radical left. You're enabling Tesla haters. You're enabling Elon haters. He's carrying humanity's future on his shoulders. Don't bite his ankles. Okay. And this is the thing. Like, I have this platform now. You're all watching me now. I have subscription, 66,000, 67,000 subscribers on YouTube, 37,000 followers on Twitter. I appreciate you. But here's the truth. Without Elon, I wouldn't have this. I have a YouTube channel. I'd have a Twitter account. No one would be paying attention to me. I found something that I'm passionate about. I'm talking about it, and I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you following me and supporting me. But if I wasn't talking about Elon, I wasn't talking about Tesla and SpaceX, you wouldn't have heard of me. You wouldn't care about me. And I'm at the position I'm in, and I became financially independent. It's probably already financially independent, but I became a lot more financially independent because I bought at a Tesla stock starting in 2016. And now I'm basically financially secure for life because of Elon. Okay? And I got here because of him. I did a lot of my own stuff, and I made a difference in my own life, and I've done a lot of things that I think are valuable. But where I am today, the comfort I'm in today, the position I'm in today, is because of Elon and because I believed in Elon, and I rose on Elon's carrying me on his shoulders, and I'm not biting him in the ankles. Okay, an Earl of Frunk puppy is not Earl of Frunk puppy without Teslas that have frunks, right? And Kim Paquette, I love Kim Paquette. Trouble with her now, whatever, but I love Kim Paquette, but no one would be paying attention to her if she wasn't driving Tesla FSD Beta. So far, there's people who are loyal, but a lot of us who are thriving in this Tesla community, whether it's Stephen, Mark, Ryan, or whoever, maybe Stephen would be thriving some other way. And I'm not criticizing Stephen because I think Stephen's on board with the don't bite Elon's ankles. But a lot of us YouTubers are here. Actually, really good examples is Ben Sullins and the E4 Electric channel, Alex. These guys rose in prominence because they covered Tesla. And then at some point, Ben Sullins got butthurt over something Tesla did, and he wasn't getting favors from Tesla, and all of a sudden he's anti-Tesla. Disgrace. Judas, it's a traitor. Okay? Alex from E4 Electric, you're a traitor. You should be celebrating Tesla. You should be, congratulating Tesla, and you get sponsorships, and all of a sudden you're getting paid to say shit you don't believe. And you lose your passion for what you're talking about. This is one of those things, like another little insider thing about being a YouTuber. There's a tendency to try to do what works to make money. Now, I'm in a fortunate position that I make more money on Tesla stock than I'm ever going to make on YouTube. And I make the videos I make because I want to make them. This is not going to be a big money-making video today, right? This is not, I'm probably going to lose some subscribers today because I'm saying stuff that some people aren't going to like because you're woke left and you support the Democratic Party no matter how many people they kill at our border, no matter how many bombs a Democrat president drops all over the world. You're going to support the Democratic Party no matter what. If I say something bad about the Democratic Party, I'm evil and I'm MAGA. And on the bright side, Republicans don't seem to mind so much when I criticize the Republican Party. So thank you, Republicans, for at least being tolerant of my libertarianness. So I want to get back to the tweet thread, though. Heroes have flaws, and their flaws make them heroic. If you follow Joseph Campbell, Hero of a Thousand Faces, if you look at Arthurian literature, King Arthur, Lancelot was perfect. Lancelot did not have flaws. No, Galahad, sorry. Galahad did not have flaws. I got it confused. It wasn't Lancelot, it was Galahad. Galahad had no flaws. And Galahad was boring. It's not heroic if you don't have to overcome your own challenges. Having those flaws makes you more heroic. Is Elon perfect? No. Has he said things I disagree with? Yes. I disagree with Elon on universal basic income, and I've made videos about it. But I'm not like going on Twitter rants saying Elon's evil. I'm not saying Elon's enabling the radical left because he's talking about universal basic income. I made my point, I get out. I disagree with Elon on something. I think Tesla didn't do a great job on Solar Roof. My customer service experience was bad. I made a video about it, and I moved on. I didn't go on some rant and hate Elon for the rest of my life because of it. I didn't enable Tesla Q. I didn't start pumping up Tesla Q and inviting them onto my threads to say, oh, this is terrible. Elon didn't do a good job with Solar Roof. So you can call me a cultist, and I'm going to wear it proudly. I truly believe that Elon Musk is carrying humanity's future on his shoulders. He is bringing us. He is going to get us to Mars. He is going to make it so that humanity is a multiplanetary species. So if a cataclysmic event happens on Earth, the light of human consciousness does not get extinguished. This matters. And this is the thing. Like there's this part, Elon talks about population collapse, and there's all these people like, no, there's too many people. No, there isn't. We're nowhere near the Earth's carrying capacity. We're not even close. We're not using anywhere near the energy we could use. We can desalinate the oceans. Ocean water. There's a ridiculous volume of it. We absolutely can have more people on this planet. There's thing, and people are just turning a blind eye. Birth rates are below 2. When birth rates drop below 2, if the average couple has less than 2 kids, or the average woman has less than 2 kids, humanity goes to 0. It's an extinction event. You say, oh, we'll turn it around. How? What are you going to change that's going to turn it around? What are you going to do that's going to make people want more kids? This is a trend. It's been going on for decades. People are having fewer kids. Maybe it's been going on for more than 100 years. What is it you're going to change? So yeah, I'm a cultist. I am absolutely a cultist. I believe that Tesla is a game changer for life on Earth. Boring Company is a game changer for life on Earth. Neuralink is a game changer for humanity. SpaceX is a game changer for humanity. Starlink is a game changer for rural populations. There's so many things he's doing that are absolutely huge. Alexandra, I will let Earl be Earl when he stops taking cheap shots at Elon. That shot he took at Elon over Elon's kid was over the top and it was wrong. And Earl owes Elon an apology for that disgusting. That was a Tesla Q Elon hater tweet. He tweeted a meme about Elon and Elon's kid, and it was wrong. That was over. I'm not upset about Earl having a say about trans kids. But attacking Elon relentlessly because he asked a question went over the top, and it enabled Tesla Q. It enabled Elon haters, and he's got enough people attacking him already. He doesn't need Earl doing it. He doesn't need us doing it. We're on the Elon team. You're either on the Elon team or you're not, and you accept. Look, Elon says some things I don't like. I don't think SpaceX should do military contracting. I don't think we should have a military. I'm not fighting over it. I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm not like, oh no, I don't like Elon because, the army might buy Cybertrucks and Tesla bots and take over the world. Elon's going to develop AGI and government's going to use it to oppress us. I don't have time for that. I believe in what Elon's doing. So, all right. Let me move on here. I'm going to take these off the screen. I'm going to go to one of the things that I do with my live streams is usually, and today I did it not as early as I usually do. I have supporters on the Locals platform, the Daily Lie. I have supporters on Patreon, and I have supporters at YouTube channel members. And I invite them to ask questions in advance of the live stream. And I didn't do it I usually like to do it the night before, but I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today. I figured it out, obviously. So I invited them to chip in with their questions. So if you are a supporter, a paying supporter on the Daily Lie on warrenredlich.locals.com or patreon.com/warrenredlich or something like that, or on the YouTube channel member, it's whatever my channel is /join. If you're a paying supporter, you get to ask questions for the weekly live stream that get answered ahead of time. So Chokunen, who's a regular contributor on the Locals platform, asked this question: how much does financial illiteracy contribute to the Elon billionaire disgustingly wealthy hate narrative? I feel like so many of the haters imagine he has all this wealth in cash via millions of overseas bank accounts. Others are a little more savvy, but think living off loans against appreciating assets is some sort of billionaire cheat that regular people can't attain. I think financial illiteracy is a part of it. I think what's really going on is there is propaganda from the left, particularly Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, who promote this ideology of hating success. Here's the thing: like I'm gonna go after the left right now. I'll go after Republicans when the time comes, but I'm gonna go after the left right now. The left hates success. They hate private sector success. Elizabeth Warren hates success. Bernie Sanders hates success. Joe Biden hates success. They hate success. They hated Bezos. They hated Gates until Gates turned around and started giving them money like crazy. They hate success. You think Bill Gates was always loved by the mainstream? They hated him. They hated Zuckerberg. They still hate Zuckerberg, really. They hate success. So what's going on is the Democratic Party, for whatever reason, has taken the position of just absolutely hating success. And this is, if you heard me, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, I said it in a video. The brilliant thing about the right, sometimes government people they figure it out. And here's what they figured out, okay? So if you think I love the right, listen to this, okay? Deng Xiaoping figured it out. The Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party figured this out. If your people are poor, you can't steal that much from them because they don't have anything. If you enable your people to become wealthy, then you can steal a lot more from them. I have no illusions that the Republican Party is pro-business because they want business to succeed. They want business to succeed so that there's more money around so they can steal more money from the businesses and the people. Alexandra, slow mode is slow mode. It's 60 seconds. I can't change it. If I don't change it, then there's too many comments from other people, and it's hard for the moderators to keep up. So that's why we're in slow mode. So anyway, I think I answered your question, Chokonen. I do think financial literacy is a part of it, but I don't think people are putting that much thought into it. They're not putting enough thought in it to even get to that point about understanding people living off. They don't know he's living off margin loans. They have no idea about that. They don't care about cash. They don't understand that he can't just sell the stock and spend money. They don't care. They're pumped up on hating successful people by the current Democratic Party propaganda. Which, you know, I'll give Bill Clinton credit on this. I don't think Bill Clinton was like this. Obama was a little bit like this. It's just gotten more extreme. Remember, Obama said you didn't build that. That was bashing success. Okay, but Obama was mostly okay, and Obama was reasonably pro Elon, right? And he had the Emanuel brothers, and Elon was working with Zeke Emanuel and Rahm Emanuel, and they were reasonably supportive of Tesla and SpaceX. But, you know, since that, you know, the left has just gotten more and more control of the Democratic Party, and they just hate business. They hate success. So, Josh T, this relates to the question. Okay. So Josh says, it's okay to question Elon on a public personal issue. Sure. Sometimes the best thing you can do with a friend, spouse, child is let them know how you feel and if you think they did something wrong. Well, Elon says we're always wrong. We want to be less wrong. He appreciates constructive criticism. Constructive criticism. Not you hurt my feelings, but hey, you said this. You could have said this in a better way. Hey, I think you missed this point. Here's what you know what? You're criticizing Elon because he didn't do his research? Fine. Contact MUSC or whatever the hell this clinic is called in South Carolina. Get the article that underlies the abstract. Go get, and thank you, Worston, for your support. Very much appreciated. Get the article. Get the actual article where this clinic in South Carolina, because what we saw on Twitter was there was some account that hates Biden, not an anti-trans account. It's an anti-Biden account. People are making all kinds of, call it a far-right account. They're critical of Biden. Biden hates Elon. You think Biden's going to, you think Elon's going to be unhappy about an account that's designed to attack that it's attacking specifically Biden's nominees. Biden nominated, what's her name? The woman from Duke, Missy Cummings, to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration after she threatened to punch Elon in a tweet. So criticizing Biden's nomination decisions is not a crazy thing to do. And so Elon responded to this tweet. The tweet included an abstract from an article that was apparently written by MUSC, whatever, there's something, University of South Carolina, some clinic that deals with pediatric endocrinology. And the abstracts seem to indicate that not only are they doing some kind of potentially hormone treatment on children as young as 4, but they're actually, even Elon didn't pick up on this. The abstract itself indicates they want to push younger. I don't know whether that's right or wrong. I don't know the medical issues at all. I don't claim to understand the medical issues. But it's a legit question. Okay, and I don't know what's going on in that clinic, and all these woke left people who have to defend the transgender people from all the perceived attacks in the world jumped on and said, no, they're not doing that. How the hell do you know what they're doing? Some activists, I've seen at least 2 activists in Canada. Apparently they know what's happening inside a clinic in South Carolina. You want constructive criticism? Go get the article. Go get the actual article. I can't get the article. I don't know how to get the article. You think you're so woke and you know what you're doing? Go get the article. Let's see what they're actually doing with kids. Because all these other people seem to be internet experts who know exactly what's happening in some clinic in South Carolina. I don't know. I don't have a position on this. Like, I'm not like, I don't know whether hormone treatment is bad for 4-year-olds. I have no idea. I don't claim to know. Elon's asking a question. What are they doing in this clinic? Maybe he didn't like the account saying it because he thought the account was over the top. I don't know. He asked a question. People flipped out. So he says this, Elon should use better judgment on who he interacts with on Twitter. Yeah? Well, then Earl should use better judgment about how he's interacting, and Kim and whatever, interacting with Tesla haters. Right? You're bringing the tweet he responded to, thus highlighting this account, would be the equivalent of Biden congressman retweeting a Dan O'Dowd clip. No. No. This is an account that goes after Biden, not trans. It goes after Biden and his nominations. That's what the official, I didn't even pay attention to the account, honestly, until people kept bringing this crap up. It is an account that is specifically devoted to questioning Biden's nominations to positions in government. And yeah, it's anti-Biden. Well, Biden's anti-Elon. So if you're are you interacting with Biden? Are you on Biden's team? Biden's attacking Elon constantly. The Democratic Party has been attacking Elon for months, if not more than a year. So if you're going to take this position, then stop interacting with Democrats. Right? If that's your view, stop interacting with Democrats. I don't accept your position. Oh, he should use better judgment who he interacts with on Twitter. Get over it. Get over it and stop interacting with Democrats on Twitter because they support Joe Biden and Joe Biden hates Tesla and Joe Biden hates SpaceX and he wants to keep us on Earth. He doesn't want us to go to Mars and he doesn't want to transition to electric vehicles and he thinks Mary Barra led. Are you kidding me? Don't look. I'm going to go back to this. Elon is carrying humanity's future on his shoulders. Don't bite his ankles. Right? This is biting his ankles. Questioning who he interacts with on Twitter is biting his ankles. You are enabling Tesla Q. You are enabling Elon haters. Get over yourself. My gut is Elon knows more about hormone treatments for kids than I do. He knows more about transgender children than I do. Okay? I'm not taking a position on this. I'm not fighting with Elon about what he talks about. I can disagree with Elon on things from time to time, but I don't end up on a Twitter rant bashing Elon and bringing in Tesla Q and Elon haters and giving them comfort and support and getting them on board. No. Yes, Jim Whitehead, when Biden froze out Tesla from the White House Electric Vehicle Conference. Didn't that happen twice? I think he had 2 separate electric vehicle conferences where he didn't invite Tesla. Absolutely. Mark Potachna says Biden is bad, but in my opinion, the other side is worse. What part of the other side, Mark? I love Mark, by the way. Just to be clear, Mark is a moderator. I really appreciate Mark being supportive. Which part of the other side is worse? Thomas Massey worse? Is Rand Paul worse? Who's worse? I would say they both suck. But all right. So that was from Patreon. This is from YouTube channel members. Thank you for your support. Hal says, what is the best right now? Cheapest available, budget electric transportation. We need the Podcar. Thank you. Is it FUV? Will FUV tank? Expensive machine for what it is. Maybe a golf cart. Be well. Like your podcast and thoughts. Thank you. Happy Sunday. So I do think Arcimoto's challenge is, can they manufacture at scale? I do think it's pretty good budget electric transportation if they can manufacture at scale. They're not manufacturing at scale yet. Until they're manufacturing at scale, it's irrelevant. Until they make enough of them, it's irrelevant. So I actually think the Chevy Bolt EUV might be a pretty, I don't know how long they're going to last. Like, if you buy a Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus or Standard Range or whatever they're calling it, Model 3 rear wheel drive, I don't know what the current term is for the least expensive Model 3 is around $47,000. If you buy that vehicle, I'm pretty confident it's going to last you 500,000 miles. You buy an Arcimoto, I'm not sure you're getting 100,000 miles on it. You buy a Chevy Bolt EUV, I don't know how long it's going to last. So on a per mile basis over the life of the vehicle, I would say the Tesla Model 3 is probably your best bet. But I'm open to the possibility that, Nissan Ariya or that somebody else might have a low-cost EV. I think there's some EVs in China, like BYD has some EVs in China that are getting reasonably low cost. Maybe the Volkswagen ID3 or ID4 might, they're going to cost less. But the question we don't know is how long are these other EVs going to last? Teslas have now demonstrated, I have a Model 3, which is arriving soon. My kid is coming up in the Model 3 soon. I have a Model 3 that has over 100,000 miles on it. It drives like a dream, and I don't think there's been significant range loss. Some, a tiny bit, but not much. So, uh, do I think that? My hunch is this vehicle is going to get 300,000 miles, maybe 400,000 miles on the first battery pack. And so that vehicle, and by the time it needs a new battery pack is going to cost less because the cost of batteries is declining over time, right? So you go out 10 years or 5 years when you need a new battery pack, cost of a battery pack is going to be significantly less. That's one of the things I got some comments on Twitter about this today. There's some story about some guy had to pay $26,000 for a new battery pack. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not, and there's probably more to the story than that. I thought a battery pack was $10,000 to $15,000. But if $10,000 to $15,000 means your car lasts twice as long, isn't that a fair price to pay? If you have a $50,000 vehicle or a $100,000 vehicle, and spending $10,000 or $15,000 gets you another 500,000 miles with the vehicle or 300,000 miles with the vehicle, wasn't it worth it? You want everything to be free? Welcome to the Democratic Party. House says, thanks for your work. Make it fun. I hope we're having fun today. Al also asked, does Elon need to slow down just a bit? No. We're innovating with extreme urgency, damn it. Why is not more recognition given to the other Tesla brains, leaders, teams? Elon tries to give recognition to Tesla leadership. I mean, Zach Kirkhorn and Drew Baglino were on the earnings calls, and they are very clearly strong leaders on the Tesla team. AI Day showcased, and Battery Day, and the next AI Day, and Autonomy Day, they showcased top people on the Tesla teams showing what they're doing to innovate. I think the Tesla leaders who want attention and have earned that right get attention. Drew Baglino's fan. I'm like I think it's me and Jordan Gieske. We're in the Drew Baglino fan club. We'd like to invite you to join the Drew Baglino fan club. Zach Kirkhorn's awesome. Love Zach Kirkhorn. Martin Vieca. I love Martin. Martin was getting his voice a little bit. I love Martin Vieca, Director of Investor Relations. There's a lot of great people on the Tesla team, and I'm really happy to be connected in any way whatsoever with what's going on at Tesla, what's going on with SpaceX, and so on. And same thing with SpaceX. Gwynne Shotwell is a public face, is a public face of SpaceX. Not bigger than Elon, but she's probably number 2. The world needs to reward and see these people at some level. We do see them. Gwynne Shotwell's been out there. Andre Karpathy's been out there. Ashok's been out there. Baglino, Zach Kirkhorn, Martin Vieca. We're seeing people on the Tesla team. If you're paying attention, they're there. Robin Denholm, the chair of the board, we're seeing them. They're out there. That's not hidden. I know many do not want the limelight, but they should be recognized more. Elon is always pumping the team. Need to talk a bit more about the people and teams around Elon. He's not a one-man show. Love Elon. Go Elon. Go Tesla. Yeah, I think I do talk about the Tesla team a lot. I made a video about Drew Baglino's video. Neuralink, what's her name? Siobhan Zillis, who is now apparently the mother of 2 of Elon's children, but she's a Neuralink project manager, and I made a video about Siobhan. She did a public talk. Not many people saw it, and I did a video about it, bringing more attention to it. I do think I appreciate the Tesla. I'm always talking about Baglino. I'm a Baglino nut. I think I need help. So, I think Drew's worried about me. I think he's legitimate. He's like worried. I don't know about this Warren guy following me so closely. I'm looking in the chat now. Let's see what we got. Tesla sales aren't declining in China; they're just ramping production. Troy Tesla. I should have put this tweet on my. I should have copied this tweet for this conversation. If you go to Troy Tesla's channel, about an hour or 2 hours ago, he tweeted about Tesla inventories by year, and Tesla's inventory is like at its lowest point in a long time. So. Yeah, they're making some progress on producing cars quickly and getting cars to customers quickly, but inventory's at not an all-time low, but it's at a low for last few years. Tesla does not have a lot of inventory on hand because they're delivering cars there are so many cars. Let's see. Is it really true that 4-year-olds are receiving hormone treatment? Arcimoto is a big disappointment to me. They have cool vehicles, but haven't scaled up fast with big machines. It's absolutely Arcimoto's challenges. They got to scale up. Thank you, Jim Whitehead. Arcimoto, I know they're trying to scale up. I've talked with the Arcimoto people. I think they're doing some good things, but number one, they got to get manufacturing down. They tell me, I spoke with some people at Arcimoto. My understanding is that they've got they've got the weight down of the Arcimoto FUV from 1,300 pounds to 1,100 pounds. They're getting their manufacturing costs down. They're getting ready to ramp, but it's talk until you do it. And they've improved the steering too. Steering at very low speeds can be very difficult, and they've supposedly improved the steering. And yes, happy Farang, they have new markets to open. I agree. I think Tesla can do a lot more in Japan, for example. How many deliveries in Q3? Best guess from Mark Potashnik. My best guess is 380,000. Alexandra, if she's still in the chat, was guessing 390,000, I think. Troy Tesla is around 370,000. So any of those numbers is good. I think the fourth quarter is going to be even bigger. Fourth quarter is going to be Troy Tesla has the fourth quarter around 450,000. I'm at 480,000. We're going to see. Would love to see Warren and the rest of the libertarian Tesla fans on a live stream. Are there libertarian Tesla fans? The only one I can think of is Jess Mears, and I don't think she's coming on. How do I think FSD Robotaxi beta rollout will happen? City by city or all at once? Good question, Jax Kuhl. Let's see. So I do think you're going to see it start in one city or state or a few cities or states. I think there are certain cities that have allowed Waymo and Cruise robotaxi networks. So anywhere that currently has a robotaxi network like that operating is likely to allow a Tesla robotaxi network. I also think the state of Florida, I think Las Vegas and Nevada generally, I think California are thinking forward, and and Texas are more likely to allow robotaxi networks first. I think Michigan will be a big holdout. I think the Northeast will be a holdouts. But once you have robotaxi networks operating in Orlando, Florida, Las Vegas, Nevada, Miami, places where people go as tourists, especially Las Vegas and Orlando, because that's where conventions happen and government officials come to conventions. And government officials aren't going to do this because the people want it. But if they like it for themselves, they're going to do it for themselves. So is Giga Shanghai still projected to deliver over 100,000 vehicles? Troy predicted that September Giga Shanghai would deliver over 100,000 vehicles, but not produce over 100,000. That they apparently have inventory on hand that they're delivering this month. Or they had inventory on hand that they're delivering this month. And as a result of that, they're going to go over 100,000 vehicles in September. But moving forward, their production rate is around 70 or 80. I think they're approaching 80,000 vehicles a month. So Troy is predicting, the big prediction from Troy is 270,000 deliveries from Shanghai in Q4, which would be 90,000 a month on average, which is pretty startling. So I normally think that Troy is being too conservative on that one. He might be too aggressive, but I would love to see it. Damon is in Arcimoto's hometown, which I assume is Eugene, Oregon, and he sees many driving around. 30 a day, that's a lot. Thank you, Mark Plot, elonbits.com for the t-shirts. Insanely gigantic. The chicks dig the insanely gigantic t-shirt. There's still risks with FSD with 80 score, 100,000 people. There are chances of bad drivers among them. One accident will put it in the headlines. I think there already was one accident. Look, it's going to be in the headlines no matter what. It's in the headlines when it doesn't have an accident. What's the guy's name? Dan O'Dowd stages a fake accident and it's in the headlines. The AXA Insurance in Europe stages a fake Tesla Model S fire and it gets in the headlines. Anything gets in the headlines. Hey, blue collar disruptor. Good to have a Canadian libertarian around. Cash is definitely not a problem, Jim. Who's the average millennial investor? Who? I don't know where the average cash question. Tesla does not have a cash problem. Oh, Arcimoto. I think Arcimoto might have a cash problem. I don't think they have a big cash problem, but they have a small cash problem. When Republicans take the House Senate, do I see drastic changes for Tesla, space, or energy? No. I don't think that Republicans, if they do take control of the House and the Senate, will take enough control to make a difference, and Biden will still be president for 2 more years. And it's really hard to go out to 2024 and predict. Thank you, Jarno. I look younger than ever. Thank you. It's because I'm covering the bags under my eyes with my glasses. I'm to Southern California seeing hundreds of Teslas. I've been to Southern California. I have noticed a large volume of Teslas. There's actually a lot of Teslas in Florida. There's more in California, but there's a lot of Teslas here in Florida. Peter says, drove from Tampa to Dallas area in my 2033 Fremont Y. I assume you mean 2023. The brilliance of the car is easy to take granted after a while. My biggest knock is my long-range Y had me stopping every 175 miles. Yeah, if you go 85 miles an hour, I have a 333-mile range Model X Plaid. And I think if you learn how to push it, Peter, if you learn how to push it, you basically you got to game the superchargers and see if you can make it to one when you're down around 4%. And then you charge up to, you got to figure out which supercharger you're gunning for and decide what you're going to go to. But I would typically get to 180 to 200 miles between superchargers, and I don't have that much more range than a long range Y. And 85 miles an hour is going to sap your range. Absolutely. Is 4680 ramping? I believe the ramp is increasing. From what I understand, I don't know if they're doubling every month or they're doubling every 3 months. They are improving. They're making significant improvements. They're making changes along the way to get there. It's not critical that 4680 reach massive volume this year. It's critical that 4680 succeed. That they succeed, that they get it ramped at some point, hopefully sometime next year. I think they're producing enough that they can produce semi and decent volume. I think they're going to be producing enough by middle of next year that they can produce Cybertruck in high volume. And that's going to be enough for now, and hopefully they can really crank it up some more. Damon, the Arcimoto CEO, did get a drunk driving charge, which I think has been resolved as a non-drunk driving offense. And he stepped down from CEO, but he's the chief vision officer, and I think he's still the largest shareholder. He still has a lot of influence over the company. And he's a great guy, Mark Frohnmeyer. Love Mark Frohnmeyer. If you're watching, love you, man. And this, I don't want to get into that. I don't see why a DUI would cost you your job as CEO. That's ridiculous. I was getting 2.2 to 2.3 miles per percent charge. You got to play games, and you probably still have an energy screen, Peter. Peter, we should talk about that. Send me an email at wredlick@gmail.com or DM me on Twitter. We can talk about that. I might have useful tips for you. I drove to California and back, and I drove to Austin and back, and I think I've got it down a little bit better, but you never know. Jim Whitehead dumped his ARC shares. I still have all my Arcimoto shares, but I didn't have that many in the first place. Thank you, Stock Explorer. Low mode got me on the follow-up question. When Cybertruck? I think Cybertruck is going to start I think they're going to start manufacturing Cybertruck Q1 or Q2 next year, and we're going to start to see deliveries in late Q2 or early Q3. But it's hard to predict that, and I don't worry about it. It's not it doesn't need to happen tomorrow. If you're a real short termer, you focus on what's happening tomorrow, what's happening next month. If you're a long termer, you're like, where are we going to be in 2030? Like, if any of this short term stuff doesn't matter for 2030, then don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. I hear that Tesla's total worth will be bigger than all the stocks in the New York Stock Exchange combined, 30 plus trillion. Well, it's going to be 100 trillion, but don't forget that other stocks on the stock exchange are going to grow. Tesla is going to generate growth for the rest of the economy too. What the Tesla revolution and the SpaceX revolution and the Boring Company revolution and the Neuralink revolution frees up the economy and frees up people to be more productive. So other companies will also grow because of the efficiencies created by a robotaxi world, a Boring Company world, a Neuralink world. A lot of things are going to grow. And I think, by the way, that Boring Company and Neuralink each could become bigger than Tesla. I don't think SpaceX could be bigger than Tesla because I don't see it yet, but I could see Neuralink and Boring Company actually becoming bigger than Tesla. So it'll be 4 Elon companies at the top. It'll be 4 Elon companies. The top 10 companies in the world, 4 of them will be Elon companies. I'm really in the Elon cult. Cybertruck 250,000 per year, going to take years to fill the initial pre-orders. I think that they will ramp Cybertruck faster than I think they're going to build a second Cybertruck factory. Thank you, Matthew Goodtell. How long before most Republicans value Tesla? Oh, I've got these friends. I'm on this this text message thread with a bunch of my friends who are hardcore Republican, Trump lovers, and everything. And they I tease them about the wars, and they're kind of on board with me about maybe we shouldn't have troops all over the world, and they don't like my open border stuff. And they've been sending me texts of fake Tesla stuff, anti-Tesla stuff, and I think they're just trying to get me going. I'm not sure whether they believe it or they're just tweaking me. One of my friends is like, well, the service at the BMW dealer I went to, they just changed my tires and blah blah blah. I said, that's funny. The mobile service came and changed my tires at home. I didn't have to go anywhere, and they charged me the same price as Discount Tire Center. William P. MCD, don't blow so much smoke up Elon's backside. He's great, and he's also a fallible man. Yes, he has flaws. Here, I said this at the beginning of the video. Heroes have flaws. It's right here. No, it's this one. Heroes have flaws. Their flaws make them more heroic. Yes. Nobody's blowing smoke up his ass. Let's see. Just looking at it just dropped my phone. Almost actually reported the stream. Oh, that's cute. They do finally release the compact $25,000 car. Where do you think it releases first? I'd expect Europe, China, and does it come to the USA at all? I don't think that the compact car is necessarily what's happening. I made a video about this week. I think what we're going to see is a robotaxi platform, and there will be a version of it. I definitely spoke with someone at Tesla who believes that there will be a $25,000 car version with a steering wheel, and it will go to India. That's not to say it will only go to India, but it will go to India. That there are markets that really need an inexpensive vehicle. But I think they're going to manufacture these cars in such high volume, and where they're really going to go first is into the robotaxi network. Cybertruck can sell like candy here in Thailand. Thailand, just the market isn't that big, though. It's big, but it's just not that big. Let's see. Elon to own cars, space, energy, and more. Yeah, my dad used to... Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to go back here. Do not forget bot. I haven't even gotten into Tesla bot. I think Tesla bot's a game. I was just having this conversation with somebody today. Robotaxi is going to generate massive profits and make the world a better place. And there's going to be this curve where Robotaxi is going to be generating massive profits, and the profits per vehicle are going to tail off as the market gets saturated with robotaxis. And bot's going to follow that trend and be even bigger. In what year will a legacy automaker sell as many BEVs as Tesla sold last year? Tesla sold 936,000 battery electric vehicles last year. I think Volkswagen and Kia Hyundai have a shot at getting to 1 million vehicles in a few years. I don't think Ford's on a path to 1 million yet that I see. I think some so legacy automakers. Yeah, so I'd say it's Volkswagen's the one that has the best shot at that. Volkswagen, maybe Kia, Hyundai. I don't know how many Kia and Hyundai deliver, but I think those two have the best shot at it. And Volkswagen, I'm including like Audi and Porsche in my Volkswagen numbers. Although Porsche's got very low volumes. This is interesting. There's some comment somewhere about locking your phone with the car. You're locking your car with the phone inside. I don't think you can lock your car with the phone inside. If the phone's inside the car's on. You have to remember to take your phone out of the car, otherwise the car won't lock. That's my experience with my car. How do I feel about Redwood Materials in growth terms? Good question from the Hermans. Redwood Materials, for those who don't know, I'm going to call it a spin-off. It's a company created by J.B. Straubel, who's one of the co-founders of Tesla, along with Elon. And it's a company that's main mission is to recycle batteries and produce battery-grade material, to take batteries, recycle them, and take those materials to provide lower cost, more environmentally friendly minerals for making new batteries. I think they have some other things they're working on. They may be working on cathode production as well, but the problem with Red Materials is there isn't enough battery supply to have a meaningful impact until 10 years after the EV scale. So 10 years from now, I think they're going to be really, really significant. But there's just not enough batteries coming off the road now for there to be enough for Red Materials to recycle to grow to a significant size. But I do think it's promising. I think J.B. Straubel's a really smart guy. I think he's effectively working with Tesla, and I think that'll work. Average millennial investor says, we all know the bullish catalysts for Tesla. What are some negatives? I think the biggest negative, and I say this all the time, the biggest threat to Tesla's success, which is the same as the biggest threat to humanity's future, is governments. Not just the U.S. federal government, but state and local governments, other country governments. Is the Chinese government a threat? Maybe. Are European governments a threat? Maybe. Is Russia a threat? Maybe. There's all kinds of potential threats. That's probably the biggest one. I think the other biggest thing is scaling battery production. Scaling the supply of battery materials and scaling battery production is a big potential hurdle. We'll see if that could slow Tesla down if we can't scale, and that's a big focus for Elon right now. Cybertruck sales prediction by units in 2025. That's from Brooke Chen. 2023, it's a low number. 2024, I think it's going to be more than 100,000. 2025, 500,000. I think there will be a second Cybertruck factory quick. Thank you, Matthew Gudtel, for your support, because I believe there's hidden billions in monetizing data services such as pothole data, streetlight data, etc. All right, you take me off on a tangent here, Matthew. I have this idea. I was talking with a friend of mine about this idea, and he's technically competent. He likes this idea. He knows his stuff. He's involved in military drones. What if you had, so in Florida, we have these underwater streams that generate a massive amount of water. Florida's a great place for water. There's like an unbelievable volume of fresh water here. And what if, and there's this question about sinkhole issues. What if we sent drones that were able to swim upstream in the underwater rivers, underground rivers in Florida and maybe other places, and be able to track where all the underground streams are, and maybe potentially see where the potential threats, sinkhole threats are, for example, is one potential value of it. But to really understand where the water's coming from, I think that would be a really cool data service, because the data that provides might help with homeowners insurance, just as an example. Where people will buy cars from Ford, VW, BMW, GM, or Musk will buy them all and produce robotaxis. I genuinely believe that most legacy automakers are going to go bankrupt. They will get bailed out by governments, and they will go bankrupt again because they're not going to be able to compete. The bailouts that they get will add more strings to make it harder for them to succeed, and they will fail. Jim Whitehead says some big fat motorcycles blow a stream of air conditioning at the rider. An Arca motor buyer may be able to add one. I think that's an unnecessary layer of complexity. Next American Gigafactory will produce Cybertruck. I do think there's a good chance, like if there's a Giga Kansas, if they make a Giga Kansas outside west of Kansas City where Panasonic's building a 4680 factory, that would be a pretty good spot for a Cybertruck factory because the Midwest loves trucks more than anywhere else. Texas, of course, which Austin's already got covered. All right, I only got a few minutes left. Let me see how much time I got left. Gotta check something. Let's see how much time I got left. I got a kid coming. Oh, not that close. All right. Yeah, still a ways away. I got some more time. Let's see. News is they're moving the banner manufacturing. Okay, so this is a mistake, Mitchell. Mitchell is repeating something that has been corrected since. You heard correctly, but I believe this has been updated. It's not true. There was news that Tesla was moving their battery manufacturing equipment from Germany to Austin. They weren't going to manufacture batteries in Germany because they wanted to take advantage of the incentives in the Inflation Reduction Act and produce battery cells here. As I understand it, Tesla is going forward with producing and maybe there's news that I haven't seen. As I understand it, that Tesla is still going forward with manufacturing batteries in Berlin as well. The fact that there's a tax advantage or whatever to produce batteries in here doesn't mean it's not still worthwhile to produce batteries in Germany. So as I understand it, they're going to do that. Let's see. It's 2023 in a few months. If Bot and Robotaxi come out this decade, it's still a fantastic achievement. Yeah, absolutely. This decade is great. Yeah, I literally, like, there's this thing about leaving your phone in the car. I literally left my phone in the car and realized, oh crap, and come back and the car's unlocked because the phone's in the car. You got to take your phone out of the car won't lock. What is my best guess when Tesla bot will get made, from Jim Whitehead? We're going to see a prototype, obviously, end of September. So what is that, 12 days from now, we're going to see a prototype. I think that there will be pre-production prototypes or pre-production bots next year, 2023. I think there's a chance that they will go into like very, very limited of production of Tesla bots next year, but significant volume of production into 2024 at best, and really 2025 before it kicks into gear. I mean, at some point they need to make a lot of bots so that they can train them. You don't want to make 10 bots and try to do the training. You've got to train them. You need, the way the artificial intelligence and machine learning works is you got to generate a lot of data. And the way you generate a lot of data is by producing a lot of bots. So I think we're going to see probably hundreds, if not thousands of bots by the end of 2023, but I'm not sure that they will be, Tesla's going to hold on to them. I would love to see them do a beta program where I can buy a bot and I can take it for walks and it can learn as I take it for walks and stuff. First FSD level 5 release 2030. I don't use the level system, but I believe that FSD will be, quote, level 5 by by the end of 2023. Um, won't the Cybertruck sell better in America than elsewhere? Yes. Yes. US and Canada for sure. Australia will sell well in Australia, but Australia is small. But the demand for Cybertruck in the United States is actually huge. I think there's something like 3 million pickups sold a year, 3 million full size pickups sold a year in the United States between F 150 and Dodge Ram and Chevy Silverado or whatever they're calling the Chevy these days. And then there's like Toyota Tundra, Tacoma, or whatever. When you add up all the trucks, it's probably more than 3 million a year. Am I a hero? This is a great. I love this question. I don't. If I'm a hero, I'm a hero on a small level. I'm hoping to become a hero. If I can get the Podcar company going, I think that will make me somewhat heroic. But I don't feel like a hero. It's funny because people say things to me. I'm a pretty self-confident guy, but people will say things to me sometime, and I'm like, "Am I really that?" I think that there's some introspection that we have to have. I would like to see myself. I think we're all heroes on a small scale. Elon's a hero on a grand scale. I don't see myself as a hero in that sense. I think I'm a good person. I'm a good father. I'm a good friend. I think I've got all those things down. But hero requires you to take on a challenge that is much bigger and deal with the suffering and the frustration and get through it and achieve something big. And I don't think my life has ever been that hard. There's been some difficult moments. I've overcome some small challenges, but I wouldn't say anything that I've overcome has been that difficult. And I've been through a fair bit. My family members had multiple cancers. Like my brother and my mother just died, right? So I'm getting through that and I'm moving on in life. And I raised kids and there's bumps in the road when you do that. But was any of it hero level? I don't think so. Is Lathrop currently producing Megapack? I believe they are producing Megapack in small scale, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Tesla watts will be stupid for a few years, but smarter than the average owner, especially if they pay tens of thousands for dollars for one. Thank you, Jim Manley. It's not a question of stupidity. It's a question of having a fun toy. When do you think we'll see the first interstate tunnel? That's a great question. So Boring Company is starting to ramp up production, or I shouldn't say that. They're getting ready to build either getting ready to, or they are building their factory to produce tunnel boring machines, the next generation of tunnel boring machine. So in about a year, probably the end of 2023, they will hopefully have 12 tunnel boring machines, and they'll be tunneling at a rate of 600 miles per year, which is pretty huge. I think the first sets of tunnels will be city tunnels. So Austin, San Antonio, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Las Vegas, obviously. When will they go interstate? Las Vegas to Los Angeles is a likely one. So 2025, Las Vegas to Los Angeles would be Nevada to California. That seems like a potential tunnel that I could see happening. I kind of see Atlanta to Orlando because of so that Disney going to get more customers coming in. I think Atlanta to Orlando would be a big route. I could see them in the northeastern United States, but I think that they tend to be slow to adopt stuff like this. So San Francisco to Reno, maybe. San Francisco up to Portland and Seattle, maybe. Megapack business is definitely ramping. There was some talk about. I think they are producing Megapack in fairly high volumes now, and it's going to grow fast. I'm glad to help Wanderlei Silva. Thank you. When you are on any road, you are connected to every road. Interesting. Need a golf savvy bot to be my caddy. I like it. Will Elon ultimately buy Twitter? And if so, will it help everyone or just Elon and Elon companies? Twitter is not to help Elon's companies. Twitter is to help humanity. It's to improve the discourse in our society and enable free speech. And frankly, I think Elon has figured out how he can make a lot more money on Twitter than Twitter makes. When you owned your VW, you didn't care about performance. It sounds like you got addicted to Tesla acceleration from Mark Potocznik. I don't care about performance as much as other people do. I do enjoy plaid acceleration. But I enjoy driving my Model 3 with FSD beta more than driving my plaid with the crazy acceleration. I'm more into the technology. I'm more into the potential for it to make the world a better place in the future. I do enjoy the acceleration, though. That is true. When the bot comes out, train yours to be the first caddy. Yes. That's an interesting thought. Would you do something bigger than yourself if given the chance or opportunity to? That's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to build a company that makes single passenger electric vehicles. Um, I do think that having 2 children, I did something bigger than myself, and I'm trying to have more children. So I think having children is doing something bigger than yourself. But I'm also trying to build the Podcar company. So making progress. I ordered an electric go-kart that I'm going to modify into the first prototype of the Podcar. It will be a not fully to scale, and it will not really be the engineering concept, but it will look the part, and that's going to help make us move forward. And that should arrive in the next few weeks, I think. And then I'm going to start tinkering with it to install remote control and to put an aerodynamic shell on it and make it look more the part. And then we'll see. Average millennial investor says, seems like Elon is expanding to every big city in Texas, Giga Austin, potentially Corpus Christi refinery. What's next? San Antonio, Houston. Well, they are talking about doing boring company tunnels in San Antonio. I haven't seen any reference to Houston yet. I haven't seen any reference to Dallas or El Paso yet. And there are other big cities in Texas. Texas is growing like weeds. Corpus Christi, I think it's Port Aransas is the refinery, not Corpus Christi specifically, but close enough. Will the $25,000, $35,000 vehicle have the same headlights front design as Model 3 and Model Y? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a radically different design. I don't know what the design's going to be, but it's going to be radically different. When would you get FSD on your Model X? I have FSD on my Model X. I'm expecting to get beta soon, within the next couple weeks. We'll see. Bot Addy. That's funny. Long distance tunnels in rural areas make no sense, and hyperloops are named for hype. Jim, I think hyperloop is real. A hyperloop, for example, between Austin and San Antonio, there's a lot of traffic on that road. If they can make it easier to travel faster between Austin and San Antonio, it's a big deal. I think Vegas to Los Angeles is a big deal. And hyperloop, can say it's hype, but if you haven't seen it, I have a video called Boring Bearing, where I think Boring Company will do tunnels under the Bering Strait, and 2 tunnels will be cargo tunnels, and 2 tunnels will be hyperloop tunnels, and they will make travel across the Pacific Ocean, both cargo travel and human travel, much faster, much more efficient, much more environmentally friendly, and much lower cost. Hyperloop will take Los Angeles to Shanghai down to 6 hours or 10 hours, and you won't have to worry about the weather. There won't be any turbulence. Living with that thing on your wall is heroic. Hey, I'm in an Airbnb. This is my last live stream from this. I'm moving out of this place in a few days. We'll see what the next place looks like. I'm going to have a lot more choices of where to locate for my live streams in the next one. Have I had a chance to watch the Motor Trend video documentary, Coding the Car? No, I have not. A few years ago, there was a post on Reddit for a Model S battery pack purchase. It was $14,000 and had to be replaced nearly 350,000 miles. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Here we are. All right, still got some time. Do I think a Cyber $25,000 to $35,000 vehicle will sell well? I think a traditional look will sell much better. So let's be clear. For robo-taxis, it's not about selling the vehicle. It's about selling the ride. Be clear about that. For robo-taxi, it's not about selling the vehicle. It's about selling the ride. Do I think it could be Cybertruck-style construction for the robo-taxi vehicle? Elon said it was going to be very futuristic. I don't think they would make it look like Cybertruck, because I think that would look too much like Cybertruck, and they want to make it look different. I think they have some ideas. I think form's going to follow function. I think it's going to be amazing. Love the paint drips on the wall. It reminds me of Lucid Motors. Thank you, Jim. That's funny right there. What do I think about Tesla using rail transport from Giga Austin and Giga Berlin to supplement semis? Rail transport has been battling semis. There was an article I read in the Wall Street Journal 4 or 5 years ago about the ongoing battle between semis and rail for different kinds of transport. And for certain kinds of transport, rail is much better. For certain kinds of transport, trucks are much better. And there's this battle in the middle. So if it's long distance transport, trains are going to make more sense. William says, a friend has Starlink, says customer service is a 0. I have Starlink. I haven't needed customer service. I had an issue with the Starlink antenna not, what do you call it, parking or whatever? Stowing, not stowing. And I found an answer online. So I think it was an answer on the Starlink website online for how to get it to stow. And I haven't tried it yet, but I think I'm going to be able to get it to do it. Thank you, Tesla bot. No need for screwing people over with eminent domain to put in roads. There's a lot of advantages to tunnels, yes. Do you want to have more kids because of Elon Musk's philosophy? No. I mean, that doesn't hurt. But the reason I want to have more kids is because I got to this point in life last summer when I started thinking about what I want for the rest of my life. And I thought back to what have I done in life, and I've got 2 kids, and I really enjoyed raising them, and I played a lot bigger part in raising them than a lot of fathers do, and they turned out really good. I'm very, very proud of my children. They're good at math. This is important. I pushed math, and I got them there. I helped get them there. They got themselves there, but I helped. And I want to do that again. I don't think there's anything I can do in life that will be more impactful than raising more kids. So that's what. And then it doesn't hurt that Elon's views on population collapse make sense to me. What do I think of the Aptera form factor for a long distance robotaxi? Aptera is too wide. I don't believe the solar cells make sense. It's too expensive. I think it's cute. I think it looks pretty. I think it's going to be too high cost to manufacture. I think the real key for robotaxi is low cost to manufacture and low energy consumption. And I think Aptera is like $25,000 for the cheap version. My Podcar is going to be. I'm targeting $1,000 manufacturing cost for the Podcar. That's probably a stretch goal, but I think it's a reasonable goal when you look at some of the vehicles that are made in China that have 4 seats and air conditioning. When do I think Tesla will announce a new model? I think they might. Well, I think the robotaxi is a small chance that they will announce more information about the robotaxi platform at AI Day, but more likely it's next year. When do I think the Plaid X will get 4680s? Never. 4680s are irrelevant. The 1865 cells that are in Model S Plaid and Model X Plaid and Model S and Model X Refresh are fantastic battery cells. People overweight the importance of this. And I was talking to Limiting Factor about this. I interviewed Jordan Gieske from Limiting Factor, and it may be that the 1865s are actually better for power output, for high performance, than 4680s. That 4680s have advantages, but there may still be advantages to 1865s. Thank you, Brooke. Is it fair to say that you are the daddy? The daddy of what? I'm the father of my children, if that's your question. Yes, and I like being a father. Dave me had a small fortune developing apps, the source of his Tesla funds. The first trainers to sell Tesla packages may do the same. Interesting. Tunnels have to have vertical shafts every 30 miles or so for emergencies. No way will be able to cross the Bering Strait. I don't think you know how long the Bering Strait is, Jim. Jim, go watch my video and come back to me. Watch the Boring Bering video. The distance that the tunnel has to travel across the Bering Strait, there's an island in the middle, so you stop at the island in the middle. It's comparable to the English Channel Tunnel. Bering Strait isn't that. I think you're overestimating the distance in the Bering Strait. What are we targeting for watt hours per mile on the Podcar? Do I think I'll beat the 100 watt hours per mile that Aptera has? Yes. That is exactly a key point. The goal is 20 miles per kilowatt hour, which I think is 50 watt hours per mile. Yeah, the goal is 20. And, less frontal surface area. It's going to be narrower. It's going to be lower to the ground. It will be similarly aerodynamic, maybe more aerodynamic because it won't have these wheels sticking out. So the target, again, these are all stretch goals. You can talk until you're blue in the face. Until you deliver, it's just talk. But the goal is 20 miles per kilowatt hour. And there's a specific reason for that, because you want to get down to a penny a mile cost of operation, everything all in. You got to get the cost of the vehicle low, and the vehicle lifelong, so you're amortizing the vehicle over a long period at a low price. And then you got to the biggest driver is going to be the electricity cost, because if it's 10 cents per kilowatt hour and you're doing 10 miles per kilowatt hour, you're at a penny a mile there, and then you got other costs. Your costs are more than a penny a mile. So if you can get the cost of the electricity to half a cent a mile, which is 20 miles a kilowatt hour or 50 watt hours per mile, then you have a better shot of getting to your 1 cent a mile total cost all in. Well, Starlink Satellite V2 launching in 2023. I think Starlink Satellite V2 might launch this year. I think that they are planning to launch it on the orbital test launch. They're going to launch 2 of them sometime in the next couple of months is the goal. When do I think Tesla will have an app store and games in the car and begin monetizing that way? I think that's a trivial monetization. I don't think that will add significant value to Tesla. I don't think the number of cars on the road adds up to enough. I think plenty of people have the alternative of just playing games on their phones, so I don't think that that's going to add up to significant value. Not that it's nothing, I just don't think it's going to be a big chunk. Where will the first high-speed Hyperloop be built? Orlando to Miami, Vegas to Los Angeles. I think it's Austin to I think it's pretty clearly Austin to San Antonio. Elon's already talked about a Hyperloop between Austin and San Antonio. I think that Miami to Orlando would be spectacular because there's a huge volume of people in South Florida who like going to Disney and Universal Studios. You give us annual passes. The Florida residents get discounted annual passes. It's a huge savings. There's lots of Disney nuts in South Florida. I think Atlanta to Orlando would be another one. It would be a huge, huge boost to Disney. This is not financial advice, but I think Disney stock might be a good stock to buy because this will lead to massive growth for Disney World anyway. All right, let's see. What do I think Four Motor Cybertruck mileage will be? So if you go back and watch my video with Jordan Giesecke, there's an open question about and I just talked to somebody else about this. There's an open question about what happens with Cybertruck in terms of range. Will they build? Oh, it's just another video that I just did with Tailosive. We talked about Cybertruck and range. So Tailosive thinks they're going to limit Cybertruck to 300 miles range so they can spread the batteries over more vehicles. I think that the quad motor Cybertruck will be 500 miles of range. It's going to be a huge battery pack. It's going to be like 160, 170 kilowatt hour pack in order to get 500 miles of range. Philip Maisie says, interesting that you are a lawyer that is good at math. I would think most people become lawyers since they aren't good at math. I followed the path I followed. I'm not sure I should have become a lawyer. I think it worked out. I think it's really important to learn math. And I encourage people to learn math. I encourage people to challenge themselves in math. So then a Hyperloop Atlanta to Orlando, Miami would be awesome. Yes, a Hyperloop Miami. I don't think many people would be going from Miami to Atlanta. I don't think many people would be going from Atlanta to Miami. But the Atlanta to Orlando and Miami to Orlando bit would be huge. Would I buy boring stock? I would like to buy boring stock. The reason I haven't bought boring stock is I did have an opportunity. There are these funds you can buy into that you don't get boring stock, but you get funds that own boring stock, or you get funds that own boring stock, and you end up paying like a 6% commission to buy in. You pay 2% a year in expense fees, and then you pay 20% of your profits when they at some point in the distant future. So called carried interest. So if I got an opportunity to buy boring company stock directly or got to buy into a venture capital fund that was buying boring company stock directly and it wasn't expenses weren't too high, I'd be more likely to do it. And the thing is, I don't want to sell Tesla stock, which I can buy Tesla stock without paying all these fees, right? So I feel like Tesla's a better bet. Same thing with SpaceX. Tesla's a better bet because I don't have to pay all these fees to buy in. I think we will be able to purchase dedicated robotaxis or will be Tesla owned only. I think they will sell dedicated robotaxis to fleets. So if you're building a fleet of robotaxis, I mean, you could have a fleet of one possibly. Very good, Jim Whitehead. Thank you. No. Warriston, the satellites that will be launched on the orbital Starship test will be Starlink 2 satellites that are going to be too big for Falcon 9. They have the PEZ dispenser, I believe, set up, and I think they're planning to launch 2 Starlink version 2 satellites. They're probably going to be test satellites. They probably need to test them out in space. So I think you're going to see the first of them by the end of this year, but they won't be launching Starlink version 2 in volume until sometime next year. Still no answer for tunnel emergency vertical shafts under hostile territory. I'm not sure what hostile territory you're talking about, Jim Manley. If you're talking about Russia, or look, the Chinese would love to have the boring tunnels going from Shanghai to Los Angeles to North America, whatever, and the Chinese will take care of Putin. I don't know why you're worried about that. Let's see. All right, I think it's time for me to call it. My kid's going to be here in probably 10 minutes or so. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to especially thank the moderators. Please check out my other videos. Check out the t-shirts at elonbits.com. Insanely gigantic. The chicks dig insanely gigantic. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Please support this channel on the Locals platform as a YouTube channel member or on Patreon. Thanks again to the moderators. Thanks to everybody for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend or a great rest of the weekend. Go Giants. Everybody have a good day.